Hi, I'm Chris Kemp on the Advanced Technical Solutions team at Salesforce.com. Today we're going to take a look at something pretty cool. We're going to look at a .NET application that's deployed on Heroku. Now, if you're familiar with Heroku, you'll know that it's a polyglot platform where you can put things like Java apps on, Ruby apps, a number of other supported languages. But .NET isn't one of them. It's not a supported language quite yet. But what we can do is we can leverage build packs, which is a way where you can take unsupported languages, create a build pack, so you can add that in and add all the dependencies that you need to be able to run that program and then get that running on the Heroku platform. So today we're going to be using something called Mono, which is an open source implementation of the .NET API, and we're going to actually deploy a .NET app on the Heroku platform. Now I'm going to take you through the process of creating this app. And the first thing we want to do is update our gem. And there's a good reason for this. The reason is that we want to make sure we have the latest and greatest gem available because older gems don't support build packs, and we're going to need a build pack to create this Mono.NET application today. The next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to get an application that's been developed by the developer who actually created this build pack, and we're going to use that as an example application. So you can actually do the same thing here. You can actually get this from GitHub, and this developer, Ben Hall, has created this application that we're going to use today. So now we've got this new application installed. So the next thing we want to do is we actually want to create our application on Heroku. So that's as easy as using the Heroku create command. We're going to want to make sure this is on the Cedar stack as well, because we want to make sure we could leverage the ability to create or use build packs, which is only available on the Cedar stack. So now we've got our new application on the Cedar stack on Heroku, and we've selected our build pack that we want to use to create this. Now, there's something a little strange that's going to happen here. Is what we want to do is we want to actually take this application name that we've got, Floating Planet 5510, and copy this. And the reason is there's something strange in this build pack. You actually need to hard code this application name into the application. So what we're going to do is we're going to open one of our files, sourceprogram.cs, and what we want to do is we want to change the host name there to match the one we've got. So now that we've added our host name in, we've gone and saved that file, what we're going to do is we're just going to go and commit this to our GitHub repo, and now we're just going to push this to Heroku. So now you notice it's fetching our custom build pack for Mono. So it's detected that it's a Mono app and it's using that build pack to actually create this. There's a few errors that are going to happen here, but that's normal. We can just ignore those. The build has succeeded. It's used that build pack to be able to create my binary, and now it's going to actually deploy that binary to Heroku itself. So now that it's compiled my Mono application, I'm just going to launch that application on Heroku, and then I can go ahead and run that. So now it's launched the application, so I'm just going to type Heroku open, and now you can see it's going to open my new web application inside of my Firefox browser here. So here you can see we've got our example. It's giving us the port number and the host name that we've got there. And we've got our first application running on Mono on .NET deployed to Heroku. Now, if you want to be able to do this as well, you can go to Ben Hall's blog here at blog.benhall.me.uk, and this is going to give you all of the steps that we went through today. So you may remember at one point when we made this application, we hard-coded that URL into the code. So this is probably not a best practice. what you're probably going to want to do there is use config vars to be able to insert that in there. So if you have the same code base that's running on production and staging, it's going to insert the right URL inside that using the config vars inside the code there. Another thing to note is that the author, Ben Hall, says that this is not necessarily 100% production ready, this build pack for Mono. So one thing to keep in mind is that if you're running your enterprise application that's mission critical on Heroku, that you might not want to use this .NET build pack quite yet, or at least test it out to make sure that it is enterprise ready before you run it. And it is an open source project, so I suggest, if you do make some tweaks and you're a .NET expert, that you go ahead and help with that with Ben Hall's application there, commit that code back, and give back to the community. So I hope you saw today how easy it is to be able to create .NET applications with Heroku, and I hope we demonstrated for you that Heroku is a truly polyglot platform.